Hey guys, welcome to our second case study, and right now we're going to be talking about community currencies. So this is an idea that I already kind of mentioned in the previous video about degrowth, but now we're going to spend a whole video talking about the benefits of community currencies, and we're going to go through and look at how a community currency can actually flow through the community so that you guys get a really good idea of the concrete benefits that it can bring. And to do that, I'm going to be talking about a community currency that I collaborated with for a period of time here in Vancouver called Seedstock Community Currency. Now, before we launch into any of that, I would like you to please access the handout for this portion of the module, which should be available to you via link and looks like this. It's called How a Community Currency Flows, and you guys can download that and then print it. So please go ahead and do that if you can. If you don't have access to a printer, you can just open the document and then be looking at it as I'm talking you through how a community currency actually flows through the community. And I'll prompt you when the time is right for that. Okay? So if you want to go ahead and actually print it, just pause the video right now, do that, and then watch the rest of the video. So up until now, we've been discussing a little bit about other ways of imagining what capital means. We've talked about these 9 forms of capital and placing value on things like social capital and cultural capital and intellectual capital. But that being said, the dominant form of capital present today is still financial capital. So community currencies, what they do is they ask, okay, well, how can we interact or, create a form of financial capital that is based on a principle of ethics that local people have more sovereignty over and have, a direct connection with, and that is designed to benefit the people in a specific community rather than, faraway mega corporations, banks, and governments. So that's really what the idea behind a community currency is. It's the idea of capturing economic energy and making it circulate within a designated community. And as I mentioned before, that community can be anything that it is designated as, but most often you'll find community currencies flowing through neighborhoods or cities, something of that size. And it can even be as small as a farmer's market. A lot of the local farmers markets that I've been to have their own little coins that you can use that only circulate within that designated market. And that kind of increases the likelihood that you will purchase your fruits and veggies from them, right? So that's kind of like a basic introduction to how a community currency really works. It essentially incentivizes people to buy local and support local businesses, but it's not the only thing that it does. And so in this case study, I want to talk to you guys about Seedstock Community Currency, which is just one way of organizing or designing a currency, and it's the one that I'm most familiar with because it's the one that I collaborated with. And so I want you guys to keep that in mind. It's not the be-all and end-all of community currencies. It's just one way of designing a community currency. And something that really attracted me to this one, when I heard about it from my classmates in the first PDC that I took, was that it really integrates the role of the individual, the role of nonprofit causes, and the role of small businesses. And it connects these 3 key players in the money cycle together and makes them more aware of each other and each other's roles, and it really promotes sort of reciprocity and money flow and prosperity for all of those 3, for the individuals, the businesses, and the nonprofits. And so we're going to explore that in a little bit of detail, but first I'm just going to talk to you a bit about what my role was when I was collaborating with Seedstock. So this would have been in 2012 to early 2013. And as I mentioned, I was taking this permaculture design certificate course, and 2 of my classmates were the founders of Seedstock Community Currency. And they started talking to me about their project, and the more they talked about it, the more interested I got because, as you know, I'm really interested in the social dimensions of permaculture and alternative economic systems. And I had always felt, like many people do, kind of overwhelmed by the idea of trying to change this economic system that's just so huge and all around us. And when I learned about how a community currency benefits the local economy and how it actually works, and that I actually understood it more or less, I was like totally on board. So I collaborated with them on a voluntary basis, and I wrote a few blogs that kind of explained some of the facets of seed stock. And those are actually the 2 readings that you have for this section of the module. So you can read those after you finished watching this video. And I also did a little bit of videography and a little bit of animation for them. And another thing that I participated in was really cool because we were able to stack our functions, as we say in permaculture, by me and my partner, who are musicians. We organized this event where we would busk on the street to attract attention, and then people would come up to us and they would be able to exchange their Canadian dollars for seed stock and learn about how seed stock worked. And so it was kind of a benefit for us as musicians and for the guys at seed stock and for the passers-by, and it was really fun.